Hello, hello. Can everybody hear me? I'm going to give us a moment to let some people slide in here. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited. If you didn't know, my name is Andre. I have teamed up with AMZ Scout over the past year now. It's actually been longer than a year of us making some good content, educating folks in the Amazon space. We're going to take a few more moments just to let people kind of filter in here. While we're waiting, I would love to know where you guys are from. I am in New York. I don't know if you guys can see in the back, but we are from New York here. Where are you guys from? I'd love to know. Last time I did a webinar, we had people literally from all parts of the world. India, the States, Europe, Spain, everywhere. You guys drop in the comments of where you guys are from. Canada, Atlanta. Timothy's from Atlanta. That's cool. I'm actually going to Atlanta in August for a Porsche experience where I get to drive a Porsche on a racetrack. Like, how cool is that? Really, honestly, because of Amazon. Los Angeles, very cool. New Jersey. I actually love New Jersey. I was just in New Jersey recently with my wife. Nancy's from New York. Nancy, where in New York are you from? I'm in upstate. Indonesia. Again, some cool different spots here. I love seeing that. That's so cool. Again, if you guys are just joining, we're going to take just a few minutes just to let some people filter in the room, get people in here. South Carolina. I actually have not been to the Carolinas yet, but I need to take a trip there. I hear there's some cool things in the Carolinas, especially the weather. Definitely. Where else? London, UK, nice. Dallas, Texas. I actually have not been to Texas either. I had to double check because sometimes, you make a connection flight, you land somewhere. Toronto, I love Toronto. We were just in Toronto, honestly, recently. My sister-in-law lives in Toronto, so we go there to visit her. Dallas. Nice. Again, guys, we'll take like 2 or 3 more minutes just to let a few more folks settle in, and then we will get started. If you guys have any questions along the way of the presentation, make sure you guys write them down, because then at the end, we're going to have a big segment where we go over some questions. And it doesn't even have to be related to what we talked about in the presentation. If you have questions just about Amazon in general, I know there's a lot of folks that are at different parts of the process. So you could be at some part of the process that maybe I didn't cover in this. Make sure you guys drop a question. England, awesome. That is so cool. I love that. Love that. Perfect. Let me know. Before we start, I'm interested to know, drop a 1 in chat if you guys are stuck at product research. I talk to people on a regular basis about Amazon, and I feel like the number one thing is that people are stuck at the product research phase, finding a product, committing to a product, moving forward. So if you're stuck in the product research phase of selling on Amazon, drop a 1 in the chat. Just want to get a feel for, kind of where you guys are at. India, look at another person from India. That's awesome. Liverpool, very cool. I see a few 1s in the chat. People are definitely, stuck at that point of trying to lock in their product. All right, it's like a little nerve-wracking. You're making the step, right? That financial commitment towards something that you don't really necessarily know the outcome. Definitely, Rachel. Yep, I see that. Perfect. Well, guys, if you missed the very first part of the intro, my name is Andre. And again, I've actually teamed up with AMZ Scout over a year now. I've done a webinar in the past. And a big shout out to AMZ Scout for having me back. Honestly, everyone that I deal with at AMZ Scout is always on top of it. They deliver such a good service for us Amazon sellers. They give us a tool that operates directly on the Amazon platform. So for me, I just have such a strong relationship. Thank you, AMZ Scout. I appreciate you guys. We're going to go over building a brand on Amazon that can generate you $10,000 passive income every single month. I'm going to talk a little bit about my story, where I started, where I'm currently at now, and a little bit of how Amazon has honestly changed my life. And in and out. I mean, it really has. So we're going to get started here. Again, if you guys have any questions, make sure that you write them down so that we can go over them at the end. We have a special offer for you guys at the end. So just make sure you stay tuned to the end. There's a lot of good stuff coming your way. But let's get right into it. I'm going to jump into it. Again, if you guys are just joining, my name is Andre, and I have curated the brand Success to Selling, which is exactly as it sounds. It's helping you be successful when selling on Amazon. And there's a few reasons why I started this brand and a few reasons why I'm so passionate about it. So today I'm going to touch on a few of those. And of course, we're going to go through an array of tools and assets that you can use to help you be successful selling on the Amazon platform. So let's just go a few years back in time, 6 actually. I quit my full-time job and I started building passive income from various e-commerce businesses. And it's just kind of funny thinking back about it. 6 years sounds like such a long time, such a long time ago. But honestly, it's like a snap of the finger. I remember quitting my full-time job, taking the leap. You guys probably don't know this. Maybe some of you who know a little bit about my past. I was a personal trainer. I was a fitness director at just like a big corporation gym. I had like 18 contractual employees that worked for me. I had a 401k, I had health insurance, I had all the things that a normal person had. And I made the leap. I made the leap to leave my corporate job, to invest in myself, to invest in becoming self-sufficient with what I wanted to do. And I own a fitness company outside of my e-commerce brand, but I knew that I needed something else, and Amazon was a big gateway for me. So I, really am thankful that I found Amazon in the first place. And now today I have 4 businesses inside and outside of e-commerce. It's just giving me a door, a gateway to do so many different things. So that's a little bit of a synopsis of where I've started, where I've come today. And one of the biggest things is finding your reason why. And I always think of like motivation as one of my big factors. And of course, it's a motivation that goes up and down. You have to find something that you're constantly motivated by. And for me, there's a few things. Number one is my family. My wife and I love to do a lot of things together. So I'm always motivated to support us. She feels the same way, or she's motivated to support us as well. So we work together as a team, but she's my motivator. If I'm down, she can kind of pick me up, give me some words of encouragement. One of my second big motivators is the automotive niche. One of my companies is in the automotive niche. I'm extremely passionate about cars. You could probably ask my wife. She's probably sick of hearing about all the car talk. But again, I just use it as a motivator, right? And you can use it monetarily to motivate you. Yes, you want to buy a nice car, so you have to make money to do so, right? You want to make money to support your family, right? That's just part of it. Another one of my big motivators is travel. My wife is actually from South America. So before I met her, I had actually never been out of the States. Again, I'm in New York, and we got together and I started traveling. I went to South America, Central America, all over Europe, and Spain, Italy. I go to Finland at the end of this year, but all that is possible because I have the ability to do so. So just as a synopsis, find your reason why. Why are you wanting to branch off? Why are you wanting to do something else from what you're currently doing? Is it to be financially free? Is it to give you the ability to travel, the ability to support your family, the ability to, invest in something like a car because you're passionate about it, or, whatever that is? That obviously will look different for everyone. So find your reason why and really do something with that. And honestly, that is how Success to Selling was created, because I had these motivators that I needed to fulfill. I needed to fulfill even more, right? So that is how I started Success to Selling. I want to get into what we're going to cover in this webinar. Again, if you guys are just joining, make sure to jot down your questions. That way I can answer them at the end. We're going to take a long time at the end of this webinar so I can answer everyone's questions. I'm sure there'll be a lot of diversity in the questions as well, just because we're all at different stages. Some folks might be stuck at the product research phase. Some folks may have already launched their product and need some help, getting those sales locked in. So in this webinar, we are going to cover a few things. And this webinar is for you if you want to make some passive income, right? If you want to quit your 9 to 5, if you want to be your own boss, if you have the desire to have financial freedom, getting real life business skill sets, all of those major key points we're going to touch on today. And you might be saying, well, how does this webinar help me with gaining these different business skill sets? If you sell on Amazon, you will have like a bachelor's degree in business within like a few months. I swear, there's so many different ins and outs that you have to learn that I have spilled over into my other businesses. So for me, all of those things are super valuable. So let's go over a few things that we're going to talk about today. I'm going to hit on each one of these topics separately. I just want to mention a few of them now. We have the in-depth product research. There's no way you can sell a product on Amazon and be successful if you haven't done the product research to establish if it's a good product. Then we're going to move to trademark and branding. For me, at the beginning of this presentation, we talked about a long-lasting brand, and you need to have a trademark and you need to have some real branding in order to do so. We're going to go over the cheapest and fastest shipping options because shipping is a big part of the game. 99% of the time, you won't be getting the inventory close by to where you live. In most cases, it might be coming from overseas. So locking in shipping is something that I always see folks having a hard time with. So we are really going to put a lot of energy into that today. One of the other big questions I have is setting up your Seller Central account. So I want to go over a few of the key components you guys should have in order to make that sign up process nice and easy. Then again, another big topic is actually listing your product. Listing your product on Amazon is not very clear cut. There's a lot of different steps you need to take within the Amazon platform. So we're going to cover a lot of those today. And then last but not least, the top 5 Amazon mistakes that I see folks make, that I've made myself, etc. So if you guys are ready, we're going to jump right into it. If you guys have any questions, again, make sure to jot them down in the chat or write them down so that we can drop them at the end. Our first topic, again, is that in-depth product research. Now, I have 3 components or 3 keys here that I like to teach folks that I think are really valuable and not really like regularly talked about. And we're going to go over them now. It's a high price point, advancing capacity, and niche expansion. So you're like, what do those mean? We're going to go over some in-depth definitions. And the first one is a high price point. Now, if you look on screen, you'll see these 2 different dash cameras, right? So you put it in your car, it records as you're driving. You can use it for insurance purposes in order to get your premiums down. But basically, it's recording what's happening through the driver windshield. Now, what's interesting is you have 2 products here. One is listed at $139.99 and one at $259.99. But they're in the same niche. They have a very similar function. They have the same box size. They have the same Amazon seller fees. They have the same freight forwarding cost from the supplier to the Amazon warehouse, but they're at 2 different price points. And what that means is that one of these sellers is making exponentially more than the other based on their list price. So I always tell folks, think of it as a spectrum from the cheapest to the most expensive. I actually like to be on the higher end of that spectrum because it allows me to leverage the Amazon fulfillment fees. And it also kind of sets a standard to the customer that you're selling a high quality product. So the high price point, higher on the price spectrum, I always find folks are a little nervous to go in that direction. They always want to sell cheaper products. But in my experience, I've actually seen this to work a little bit better. The only way to establish the average price is to use a tool. And throughout this presentation, we're going to go through some of the AMZ tools that I regularly use, not even after launching a product. Of course, you need them when you're launching a product, but after you've launched your product, you still need to kind of monitor where your niche is at, what the average price is, how many results are there, like how many sellers are there, what's the saturation score. So this is that. You are looking at all these different metrics right here that go over so many important statistics, so many important numbers that you need to pay attention to. And this is the AMZ extension, the web extension. So we're going to go over this again. I just wanted to put it in here quickly for you guys to take a look at, you guys to kind of get familiar with. Again, I'm going to show you more so how to use this, but you need to be able to identify these metrics in order to kind of have a strong pulse on the game. My next point here is advancing capacity. It kind of sounds like a fancy term, and this just means that your product has the ability to be better than what is currently out there on the market. And you may say, Andre, how do you establish a product that has advancing capacity? And I have a few quick, easy ways to do this. And one of the ways is to go on to the product that you're looking to sell and go to the reviews and click on the negative reviews. 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a bunch of reviews listed that are showing you what is wrong with the product because they only have 1 or 2 stars. Then what I like to do is take those negative reviews, reach out to my supplier and say, hey, the suction cup for the windshield doesn't really stick well on these cameras. And what happens is I read a review that they keep on falling off. Is there a way that we can have a bigger suction cup or not even use a suction cup? Maybe we have some type of connection that actually connects to the rear view mirror, right? So you can be kind of creative in this process and try and think outside the box. How can you make this product better than what is currently out there? What's also really important is the ability to have multiple products within your brand, right? And we see this every single day, right? You know, Clorox owns Burt's Bees. J. Crew owns this. Coca-Cola owns that. All these different brands have other brands within them that they own and operate. And really, at the end of the day, you can have a couple different strategies, whether you're upselling other products. You know, maybe you're selling that dash cam and you also sell the SD card that inserts in it, right? You can kind of capitalize on multiple products that interact with each other, or you just sell other products in general under a brand. Maybe you sell in the health and household niche on Amazon and you sell multiple products in that same type of niche, right? They don't have to be the same product that complement each other, but they are products within the same niche. Beautiful. And again, just some more examples. My wife loves Burt's Bees, so I just thought of that, right? And it's just like, you know, who owns Burt's Bees? And then immediately you go and you start finding this trail of all these different things. So next on our list of these major topics that we're going to cover today is the trademark and branding. Now, I have to say this is probably one of the most overlooked aspects that I see folks kind of miss out on when they go to sell on Amazon. Is they're just really excited to start selling. And then what happens is they just kind of maybe brush through some of the fundamentals, the things that you have to do if you really want longevity in this game, if you really want to sell for a long time on Amazon. And one of them is you need to have a strong branding presence whenever you launch a product. And a major way to do that is by trademarking that product. So in this section, we're going to go about how you search for the name availability for a trademark. We're going to go over the different service class that your product will fall in. We'll go through a very quick step-by-step USPTO trademark application and the importance of the Amazon brand registry department that gives you so many different tools and access that you'll have once you're a part of. So coming in here, the first thing is name availability. I have in here an example, and I have a YouTube channel that kind of documents this entire process. And the brand that I created, this isn't a real brand, I just used it for demonstration purposes, was Dogs Daily. Dogs Daily was a ACL brace meant for dogs that maybe have a strained or torn ACL in their leg. And I don't know if you guys have a dog that gets the zoomies. I have a dog that gets the zoomies and goes crazy, and they can hurt themselves. So we established that there was a level of demand for this product, and now it's time to create this brand. And before you can even create your brand and get some of the imagery locked in, you need to establish, is the name available? So within the USPTO, the first thing you need to do is search, is that name accessible? Once you do that, you're actually going to search the service class that falls within. So it's important that we make sure that our service class is in line with our name, right? Or really not necessarily our name, but what our product is. If you're selling a dog ACL brace or some type of dog, we'll call it maybe tool or service, you're not going to sell within the makeup niche in the service class, right? So we just want everything to kind of coincide with each other. And then here is just a very quick synopsis of what you guys should expect, because I know there's a lot of people saying, you know, what do I need when I do my USPTO or my trademark application? And here is just a quick rundown of what you'll do step by step, from creating your USPTO account to selecting the TEAS application. That's the application you want. Filing that TEAS application, inputting your business information, selecting the logo you've created, selecting your class, and then you want to go down to your input and payment, and then finally filing and paying. Last but not least of this section, a really, really important part of this whole process of getting your trademark is being a part of the brand registry department. Now, I've been selling on Amazon for years and years now, and I can tell you that I have had, I'm trying to think now, off the top of my head, I think I've had 3 different instances where I've had my listing hijacked. I've had competitors leave negative reviews. I've had some things happen that I had the brand registry department take care of directly, right? So once my listing was hijacked from someone trying to take my sales, I was able to contact the brand registry department because I had filed my trademark application and registered with brand registry. They were able to kick that person off my listing and kind of secure everything. So if you're going to sell on Amazon and you want to do it for a long time, or you want to have a brand that you can add multiple products to, getting your trademark application is extremely important. Getting your brand registry acceptance, right? It's a department of Amazon, is also very, very important. So make sure that you guys follow these steps. I know we'll have a lot of steps, but this is a very, very important one just to protect yourself, protect your investment. Okay, our next section. Colombia. We have someone from Colombia. Very cool. Now in the United States. I have not been to Colombia. I have a good friend from Medellin. I would love to go to Colombia. It's one of the spots on my list that I need to go to. Getting back on track here, our next important section is the cheapest, fastest shipping method. Now, we're going to go over 3 main variables, what you need to ask your supplier. We'll go over some of the differences between DDP, ocean versus air, and we'll go the 3 steps to create your Amazon shipping plan. Again, this shipping plan is, all these steps are so important, but if you do your shipping plan wrong, that means that you've paid for your inventory and then it's shipped to the wrong place, which is just like really tough situation. I've actually been in it myself. You want to make sure that you have that locked in. So again, our first 3 main variables are coordinate with your supplier. You want to make sure that you're using delivery duty paid, and you want to create your Amazon shipping plan. So let's get into those. First, you need to ask your supplier these main questions. Without the answers to these main questions, you won't be able to create your shipping plan. So I always tell folks, make sure you curate a relationship with your suppliers, right? Even suppliers that I've been working with for a while, and all I have to do is tell them how much inventory I need shipped back and forth. I just am nice to them. I talk to them on a regular basis. If it's a holiday for them, I'll say happy whatever holiday. I just think that goes a long way. And then it makes this type of situation easier when you say, hey, I need some important information. So ship from address is where the supplier will be shipping your products. So let's just say that you found a supplier from Alibaba and they're in China. Your ship from address is your supplier's address in China, right? So that's an important variable to kind of take note of. Not your address. Let's say you live in the States, I live in New York. I don't put that address. I put the address in China that I obtained from my supplier. Next, the type of shipping paper for the box ID label. What a weird, small little thing that Amazon wants to know, but Amazon wants to know. And if you don't know this, or you input it incorrectly, or your supplier uses the wrong piece of paper and Amazon isn't able to kind of scan it with their scan gun, you'll be in a situation there. Shipping carrier and freight method. Now, for me, I personally use DDP Ocean or sea shipping. I use fast vessel shipping. For me, it's very convenient in terms of I can time things out when my inventory is getting low from when my new inventory needs to arrive, and it's very inexpensive compared to air shipping. So I encourage you to explore both, see what works the best for you, and the number of units per case and how many cases. Amazon has so many moving parts that they really need to know where the inventory, or excuse me, how many units are coming in to their fulfillment centers. If you're a new seller, you can't just send 5,000 units to Amazon. They need to establish and build some trust with you. And the way they do that is really having everything very transparent. How many crates are you sending? And within those crates, how many units do you have? Obviously, they also need to make sure they can store all of this. So they need the shipment dimensions and weights of the boxes. I'm having a problem finding what to sell. Just glance down, look at chat. I feel like I said that in the beginning too. It's one of the most kind of commonly asked things. I encourage you to stay to the end, because not only will we help you find what to sell, but we will actually show you how to sell it, because there's both angles to that you really need to know. So moving on here, I want to get into a little bit of delivery duty paid, or DDP, because you hear the term, you'll just hear someone quickly say DDP, but what does it actually mean? And we'll just use the China example, right? So I'm ordering units from China and having them sent to the US to one of the fulfillment centers with Amazon, and I want it DDP. That just means that my supplier is responsible for paying every fee associated to get my inventory from China all the way to the US. If you guys are not familiar, there's a lot of little fees, right? There's fees from moving the units or your boxes from one ship to another. There's fees established from getting things from one continent to the other, right? Especially in the States, you might have to pay tax. There's a lot of different variables that you just want everything all taken care of, so that when your inventory arrives in the US, you don't have to deal with customs. You don't have to deal with anything. Everything is just locked in and ready to go. Perfect. Okay. So what we need to do now is go over a little bit of your shipping plan. Now, again, your shipping plan is very important, just because if you mess up your shipping plan, your inventory will land somewhere else potentially, and then you have to pay a freight forwarder to then move your inventory again. Just do it right the first time and pay close attention, and make sure that everything is confirmed inventory to send. So that is when you're going in and creating that, your first tab, that's what you're going to click. Then confirmed shipping, you're just going to go through and then check those boxes. Are you using small boxes, big boxes? And then again, Amazon will then generate this label for you that you will send to your supplier. Your supplier will then print that out, slap it on the box. That way, when Amazon goes to scan that, everything is going to work just as it should. Next big topic. Again, I wanted to make my presentation, my webinar, about the foundation of selling on Amazon. I am going to get into some of the statistics and some of the product research variables that I pay attention to, like the number of sales, the number of competitors, all those nitty-gritty things. But I just see a lot of folks kind of missing out on these. I mean, you need to set up your Seller Central account. You need to create your shipping plan. And this is one of the best ways that you can do that, is just following some of these simple rules. So now we're going to get into setting up your account. Before you set up your account, you have to choose what type of account you want, because there's actually two different types of seller accounts on Amazon. You can have an individual account, or you can have a professional account. Now, I just have a little screenshot here of some of the attributes, but I'm going to break it down nice and easy for you. An individual account, Amazon is going to charge you 99 cents per unit you sell. But the professional account, you're going to sell as many units as you want, 1,000, 500, 50, and you're just going to pay one flat fee. So what happens is folks are like, hey, I'm just starting off. I only want to, maybe spend $1 per transaction rather than the $40 per month. And then what ends up happening is they start selling 5 units a day. And by day, let's say 5 or 10 or 20, they've now exceeded that $40 amount that they would pay for their professional account. So of course, the choice is up to you. I would personally recommend you to get the professional account. And if you ever need to switch your account type later down the road, you always can do so. So your first step is choose which type of account you would like. Again, I'm going to recommend you get the professional account just because it makes the most sense financially. Now, you're going to go on, you're going to create your Amazon seller account. I'm just going to let you guys know that if you already have done this in the past, you're going to need to make sure that you delete that old account or use that old account, because Amazon is going to store your email. And I always see folks kind of having this moment where they're like, I can't create a new account because I have an old account and I don't have a new email. Make sure that you have that nice and locked in. Another important thing to know when you're going to go and create your Amazon seller account is you are going to need some important documentation that if you don't have, Amazon is just going to deny you, or they're just kind of put your application on hold. I've seen it happen, and it already is kind of like a little bit of a stressful process where you're kind of handing in all this different stuff. So you'll need a valid government issued ID or passport, a recent bank account or credit card statement, a chargeable credit or debit card, and a mobile phone. So before you start your application, make sure you have all those things ready. That way, when you're doing your application, you're not fumbling around trying to go back and forth and say, hey, I didn't bring my credit card with me, or I don't have my ID with me. Have all those things, have a little checklist. I think that really does help. Okay. From here, you're going to need to input some important things about your business. And I think some folks may start this process and they might not even have a business, and that's okay. You can totally do so. I wanted to include this part just in case you're in that position. And you'll see company registration name here. Company registration name is the tax identification number associated to your business. And you're like, well, Andre, I don't have a business. How would I have this tax identification number? Not to worry. You actually can use your social security number here. So I just wanted to point that out. I see a lot of folks getting hung up at this portion. They're like, hey, I don't have a business yet. You can use your social security number for this section, and that will just allow you to open up your account. Again, you're going to need a credit card that Amazon is going to charge when they bill you for your monthly bill, right? We talked about how there's the professional account and the individual account. Amazon needs to bill you, so you need a valid credit card or debit card on file. This is where you input that. Lastly, we're on the last section of setting up your Seller Central account, and that is your store name. This is like maybe this is the number one question that I get is, number one, what should I make my store name? Does it have to be about the product that I make or that I'm selling? Can I change my store name? We'll quickly address this. Yes, you can change your store name really at any time. And I always like to choose kind of a broad store name. So I'll just give you an example. We'll go back to the Dogs Daily brand. Dogs Daily just talks about dogs, right? It wasn't like ACL dog brace, right? That could be a store name. But instead, maybe you sell the dog ACL brace. Maybe you sell different types of dog collars, like a shock collar or a leash or something along those lines, right? Something within the pet and dog niche itself. So keep it relatively broad for your store name. That way you kind of have some diversity in what you can sell under. And again, you always can change it. This next question, do you have a universal product code or UPC for all your products? Excuse me. You're going to have to select yes for this because you need one. And I'm going to go over that in a second here for our next section. I'll go over your UPC. But I see folks saying, well, I don't have a UPC. You need a UPC to sell on Amazon. So make sure you put yes here. Then this very last question, do you own a brand? We talked about the brand registry department and we talked about your trademark application. And what I see is folks get in this situation where they applied for their trademark application, but they actually had not received it. That's totally fine. You can click no here at this moment and then get your brand later. That's totally normal. Okay, so we've gone over creating your shipping label. We've gone over creating your seller account, which account type to have. Now we need to go over setting up your product listing, a step-by-step guide. This is, if you go on YouTube and you just type this in, all these videos have tons of views because folks always run into problems. I actually remember now thinking about, I had a problem setting up my first product. So I just wanted to go over some of the main points. Some things are pretty self-explanatory, like how many units you're going to send. You just input how many units you send. But there are some other important information like your UPC that we're going to go over here. So what are the two things you absolutely need before you list your product on Amazon? And that is you need an Amazon Seller Central account, right? So that's why that section was before. Set that up. Obtain your Amazon Seller Central account. And then you need a barcode. You need a UPS or UPC code, UPS, a UPC code from gs1.org. gs1.org is the only organization that can actually sell you a barcode. They're responsible. They have this relationship with Amazon. In the past, you could have used someone else, but now you can only use GS1. So once you log into your Amazon Seller Central account, you're going to go to Add Products at the bottom left under Catalog. And then from there, you're going to type in the product name after saying, I'm adding a product not sold on Amazon. And then this is where that UPC really comes into play. You're going to go into the product ID and type in the UPC code into that product ID. Next time you're shopping, next time you're doing anything, I'm sure even at your home now, you can pick up anything and it will have a barcode on it somewhere. And underneath that barcode, there will be a bunch of numbers, right? So that if you were to type those numbers into a barcode machine, it would actually generate the barcode. Something interesting I learned in this whole entire process. I didn't know that. Those numbers are responsible for that. So your product ID, you're going to put the numbers from your barcode, and then you're going to select UPC. You're like, what are all these options? GTIN, FAN, OCID. There's a bunch here. So you want to make sure that you choose UPC. Perfect. Then at the very bottom, what you're going to do under brand name, again, is that brand that you established, that you put on your trademark. I'm just using Dogs Daily. Oh, we have a dog. I love dogs, so I always use dogs as my example. If anyone has a dog here that's watching, drop a 1 in chat. I just feel like dogs are great. They just bring so much joy to the world. Brand name, you're going to make sure that you put what you put for your trademark. Okay. Again, this is just reiterating that exact same thing, and that is through the USPTO, right? Through our trademark. Next, in the list process, you're going to go into the manufacturer is yourself. I see folks regularly getting confused, like who's the manufacturer, if someone in China is making it or wherever your supplier is. Manufacturer is the brand that you are selling under. So make sure that you input that there. Again, some generic information. Does your product expire? For us, the dog brace doesn't expire, right? It's not a perishable item, so you're good there. And moving on from here, you have to input your price, quantity, and condition. Very last but not least on this section, your fulfillment channel. Fulfillment channel, what does that mean? You have 2 different fulfillment channels that are open to you that really will heavily dictate your flow, your success, and that's FBA versus FBM. I'm going to go over more in detail those different channels, which one I personally choose, which one I personally stay away from, and some of the differences behind them. Okay. I'm going to go next here. I don't know about you guys, but I have Amazon Prime. My folks have Amazon Prime. My friends have Amazon Prime. All the people that I regularly talk to talk about buying something on Amazon Prime. And what that does is establish this large clientele base. And Amazon really is the king of e-commerce when it comes to customers trusting the platform. And one of those attributes, right? One of those things that really complements Amazon is Amazon Prime, right? You get your product within 2 days. You can return your product at any time. So being a part of that is extremely powerful, that I always encourage folks to really sign up for Fulfillment by Amazon, or FBA over FBM, Fulfillment by Merchant. If you're a fulfillment by merchant, that means that you're picking and shipping your own products. Amazon isn't doing it. Unfortunately, you can't be a part of Amazon Prime. If you're FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, Amazon is going to store all your units. They're going to put everything in a box. They're going to ship it to your customer, make sure it's on time. Everything's going to be just locked in. Look at this. Chris, in the US alone, there are 350 million subscribers. Just exactly touching on what I was saying with this large clientele basis of active shoppers. It's one of the reasons I love Amazon, because the folks that are on there are there to spend money. And I've done other forms of e-commerce. I've sold on Facebook before. And if you're scrolling on Facebook, you're just on Facebook. Maybe you're browsing for entertainment. You may be looking at the news. But if you're on Amazon, you're there to shop. So for me, the large clientele basis is extremely valuable. Okay, now we are at a section where it is very important to make sure you follow directions, and that is uploading your listing images. If you see the see image guidelines, you'll click on that and it will bring down this drop down of all these different variables you need to make sure that you follow when uploading your images, because Amazon is so specific in what they want. And it's happened to me. Actually, it happened recently to one of my listings. I had my listing suppressed because I didn't follow one of these rules specifically. And I was like, oh, I've been selling on Amazon for a while. Like, I'm sure this won't be a problem. I listed the product and then I wasn't getting any hits on my PPC. I wasn't selling the product for a little bit. So I went in, called seller support, and they're like, oh yeah, your listing is suppressed because your image goes against our guidelines. And then I went in and reread. So make sure you read these guidelines and make sure to follow them, because it really does make a difference in the way Amazon shows your listing. Again, here are just some images that I created for the Brand Dogs Daily, just really utilizing some, kind of universal branding techniques where you can kind of tell everything is made by the same person, where there's the colors that are complementing each other. You can really tell that there was time and energy spent to show the customer the functionality of it, why it's good for them to buy, etc. Okay, product description. I always see people getting confused with product description and bullet points. So I wanted to touch on that because it's such a important question. These here are not, this is not your description. These are your bullet points, okay? Then if we were to continue to look, these are your descriptions. So the bullet points and the descriptions are two different things. Make sure you have the correct one in the correct place, because I see folks regularly kind of like switching them up, and then they're in a position where they're like, I don't know why, Andre, my bullet points aren't showing up, but my description is. So make sure you guys can differentiate those, because that is important. Again, this is just showing you in the list process where each of these are. And then we're into another section here that just goes over kind of the important variables of your product. Like, does your product have any warnings, or does it have some type of description that we need to know about to keep our customer safe, right? Super, super important. Make sure you know your product well so that you can kind of divulge that information to Amazon so they can inform your customer. Chris, everyone has Amazon Prime. I know, it's crazy. Everyone. I don't even think I know too many people that don't have Amazon Prime, now that I think about it. And I'm a seller on Amazon and I have Amazon Prime. It's like everyone has it. Doesn't matter if you're a seller or just a buyer, everyone has it. Okay, so now we are going to go over the top 5 Amazon FBA, fulfillment by Amazon mistakes, that I see folks make. And I've seen folks make these. I've made them. So I wanted to kind of put them together because I just feel like knowledge is power. And when you're investing your money into something, one of the most defeating feelings you can have is in making a mistake that maybe ends your progress altogether, right? Like you have to stop what you're doing, or just like puts a hard stop where it takes you a while to push past. So the first is analysis paralysis, no branding, FBA over FBM, product research, and reviews. So let's go into each one of these individually. And the first is analysis paralysis. Do you guys like this dramatic picture I found of this woman? She's looking at something scary. This is representing that when you are trying to find a product, you can't settle. You find a product, you think it looks good, but then you see, oh, it has too much competition. Then you find a product, it looks good, but then it doesn't have good profit margins. And you find a product and it looks good, and then you're just nervous because you just said no to 2 other products, and you're like, well, why is this product good? So analysis paralysis is something that you just have to get over. You have to commit. You have to be that person that takes action. Again, we'll talk about taking action at the very end here. And if you guys haven't, make sure you stay tuned to the end. Write down your questions, because we're going to have a very special offer that requires you to take action. And that's why I like this analysis paralysis, because you just feel like you can't, but you have to actually make the step to do so. The next is branding. And you see A+ content. You may be wondering, what is A+ content? A+ content is a feature on Amazon that you only can be a part of, or you only can have on your listing if you are part of the brand registry department. So in the very beginning, we talked about the brand registry department and why you want to be a part of it, because it gives you access to A+ content, or what I like to call precious web browser real estate. And when you're like, what does that mean? And basically what that means is when you have A+ content on your listing, Amazon allows you to put these giant pictures that captivate the user. They get the user's attention. So instead of one small little picture off to the left, your customer will scroll down and they'll see these big engaging pictures and videos that make them want to convert on the sale. And I've actually had listings, right? I've had products that have had A+ content and haven't, and every single time I always end up putting A+ content on the product that didn't, because I compare and contrast the sales. And for me, it's a no-brainer. Yes, it costs time, it costs money, it costs energy in order to make A+ content, but it's so valuable. So make sure you guys brand, make sure you guys are a part of that. Again, we're going to quickly touch on the FBA over FBM. And I see folks wanting to save money, and they think they can do it themselves and use FBM, or fulfillment by merchant, over FBA, fulfillment by Amazon. And I don't care how much time you have on your hands. I don't care how many boxes you have in your basement that you think you can package products. It's just impossible. Amazon is a very well-oiled machine. They do this all day long, literally 24/7. The warehouses do not close. They are just cranking all day long, and they have a sense of efficiency, right? They're very efficient at doing it, better than you or I could ever be at it. So let Amazon take the reins on that. I've also sold products through Amazon fulfillment by merchant, and I've noticed that my sales were not the same as they were through FBA. I don't have any statistical or hard evidence just between comparing and contrasting, but I think the Amazon algorithm pushes fulfillment by Amazon. I mean, think about it. Amazon is making more money when they have to do all these different services. And last but not least, your product will be enrolled in Amazon Prime when it is a part of fulfillment by Amazon, and it is not enrolled in Amazon Prime when it is fulfillment by merchant. The next part is product research. I see folks that will go onto a listing. They think it's a good product to sell, and I'll say, why? Tell me why. What does the average monthly sales look like? What does the average monthly revenue look like? What is the average price? What is the average number of reviews? And they start going through them. And then I'll ask the question, why does that make that product a good product to sell, right? If the average reviews is 1,736, that actually has a meaning behind it. And if you were to ask me, I always like to have those numbers have a set average that I want to be below or above, or I won't touch the product. So for me, there's many times that I'll see a product that may have a good average monthly sales figure, but has a bad average reviews, right? So if it has a good average sales figure, let's say it's selling 3,153 units per month, but then the average reviews is 1,700, that shows me that there's a lot of sellers selling this product, because the only way to get reviews is to sell a lot. So the more reviews, the worse in regards to the level of competition. And there's other ways to establish that we're going to touch on in this webinar, as well as I want you guys to kind of ask me in the comments below, what metrics have you been using? I would love to kind of answer those questions specifically to say, hey, if you're looking at an average monthly sales volume below 200 units a month, it's probably not enough sales volume for everyone to make a lot of sales, right? You want to see a higher figure there. One of the main attributes that I see folks miss out on is focusing on getting reviews. Now, reviews do a lot for you, and they help with your organic rank on the platform. Every time you sell a product, your rank moves up or down. And in most cases, when you sell a product, you get a positive review, your rank will jump significantly. When I mean significantly, you can be ranked, let's say 1/1,000,000th in the niche. The higher the number, the larger the number, the worse. The smaller number, the better. I've seen someone just recently, I have a Patreon that just sold 2 units in one day, and they hadn't sold a unit in, let's say, a day or two. They sold 2 units in one day. They went from 1,000,000 to 500,000. They jumped that much in selling 2 units in one day. So part of that is getting reviews. You really want to make sure that you encourage your customers to leave a review. Amazon doesn't allow you to ask your customers for a 5-star review. It's actually against their terms and policy. So you have to be very creative in the way you do this. You can use the Amazon Vine program, where you send your product to designated customers for free in return for a review. You also can leave very generic little thank you cards in the box of your unit that just say, hey, a small business wants to thank you for your purchase. We really appreciate your honest feedback. Would you take time to leave us an honest review of what you think of the product? So if you can focus on a few things, one of them must be getting reviews. Any way you can, as long as it follows Amazon's terms and service, I promise you it will do nothing but benefit you. Okay, I'm going to take a quick moment. I want you guys to keep dropping some questions, keep on engaging here, and we're going to get into what I value as the most important thing of this entire presentation, over setting up your Amazon seller account, over setting up your listing, all these different things. This is going to be the number one key, the number one tool in order to make sure you're successful. Without what I'm going to speak on now, you won't be successful on Amazon. It's just impossible. You might as well put your time and energy into something else, unless you are willing to have something guide you through. And guide you through means tools. And one of those tools is a private mentorship with unlimited 30-minute calls. Now, What happens is every step of the process, you find yourself in a position where you're like, I have a question on this. And you want an answer with a person. You don't want to talk to a robot. You want to talk to someone face to face, like you're looking at me now. You want to say, hey, Andre, I tried to file my trademark application, but for some reason, my logo won't get imported into the UPS or USPTO website. Can you give me a hand? And that's what I'm here for. So experience 3 months of personalized guidance and support through unlimited individual calls. It's not through someone on my team. It's not with my camera turned off. It's with me. It's just how you see right here. You receive individualized support and attention to address your specific e-commerce needs, challenges, and questions. This alone is valued at $2,000. I can't stress it enough that everyone's time is money, right? It's a very known thing. And if you look at all of these folks in the e-commerce space, it's not cheap to talk to someone directly. So having someone that you can rely on, that you can ask questions, in my opinion, and from the folks that I've helped, find it really, really, really important. So moving on to the next one. This is the 3-month access to private chat. This means that you're like, hey, I'm just like at this position where I don't want to jump on a call. I don't want to show my face, but I am by my computer, and I really just want to send you a quick message. You can do so. I have a platform that I operate on where you and I can have quick conversations through a written chat, just like you can just type in a question here. Very, very easy, very straightforward. And then again, it kind of documents everything. So like, let's say you're at, the point in the process where you're like, hey, what guideline, the guidelines for listing my images is telling me to have a white background. And I'll say, hey, use this app called Canva that has a white background. Then 2 weeks later, you're like, hey, Andre, I forgot what we were talking about. What was that app? And I'll say, hey, it's in our conversation. It's listed as Canva, right? So it has this like documentation that you can go back at a later point and kind of look at all of our conversation to say, oh, okay, yes, I'll use this, that, etc. Next, this is such an important variable that we're offering in our gig, something very special, and that's a supplier outreach template. Reaching out to your suppliers can be daunting, can be exhausting, because you're in this position where you're sending a message and then waiting for a response, and then sending another message, and the timelines are so different. So what I like to do for folks is I've created a template that outlines all of the important questions you should be asking your supplier. So what happens when you get this gig is you receive that template that you can just plug right into Alibaba and send to all of your suppliers with one click. And I've revised this template. I've taken time to create this template because it has all the different variables around how, are you able to put a logo on my product? Are you able to do custom packaging? Can you send my products to DDP, right? What is your return policy? All these different questions I put in one document for you, and then you have access to it that you just copy, paste, send directly to your supplier. And it makes it so much easier rather than, writing the same message out every single time. We're trying to simplify the process. We're trying to make it easy and establish connections and really do it on your terms, right? You should have a good relationship with your supplier where, you're kind of setting the standard for what you expect. Speaking on what you expect, I think the thing that I see folks they're always taken by surprise is that the list price you see on Alibaba is never the price that you'll pay. I mean, you could reach out to 100 different suppliers on Alibaba, and I bet you see the picture of it and you see, the dog brace list price, $3.99 per unit. And then you start talking to them and you start negotiating. And then before you know it, instead of $3.99, you're paying $3.25, right? So you just saved yourself 75 cents, but 75 cents on 500 units, you just save yourself hundreds of dollars. So with this gig, we're offering a supplier negotiation template. And this template basically enables you with framework for conducting successful negotiations with suppliers that cover key factors like your pricing, your quantity, discounts, payment terms, quality control, really kind of empowering you to optimize your supplier relationship and maximize your profitability. Thanks. I will think about it. I have to go now. Well, I just want to let you know before you go, this is a limited time offer, and AMZ Scout and I have been working together for a while, and it's just so interesting because they really bring on the best creators in the space to do this. And, you know, they're offering a service for you guys to better yourself. So make sure that you guys stay to the end. Make sure that you guys hear it all the way through and make the decision for yourself. You know, I think that you'll be really honestly surprised with what AMZ is offering, what I'm offering, what we can kind of collaborate together with. And that brings me into what AMZ is bringing to the table, and that is a load of things. I'm going to go through some of these. I'm going to go through all of them. I could probably spend hours talking about all the different all the different tools that they have. You know, we do have a stop at some point. I'd love to hang with you guys all evening, but let's go over a few of these. And one of them is the Pro extension. This Pro extension goes directly on your web browser to let you analyze on the Amazon platform. I mean, when you're on the Amazon platform itself and you have the ability to analyze how many sales are happening on the platform itself, extremely valuable, extremely convenient, extremely easy. You just click one button, it pops up, it shows you all the different data you need to know in order to establish whether the product is worth selling. The product database. This is going to house all of the products that Amazon is selling for you to establish some more important metrics, right? So you go into the product database and you type in a few filters. I want to sell a product between 1 and 5 pounds, between the price point of $5 to $50, between et cetera, and then it will generate all these different products that fit your criteria. That's honestly how I like to kind of go through it. Is I will start by finding these different filters, and then, you know, the filters I like, the monthly sales average, the monthly reviews, the list price, all these things. And then I'll go through and I'll filter through these products to say, interesting, I never thought about a dog ACL brace. And again, my dog gets the zoomies. Like I see it every day. I see her go crazy. And I'm always like, you know, a little worried. So I start thinking like, oh, how can this connect me? You know, how would this entice me as a customer? So that product database, extremely valuable. Maybe you want to keep an eye on a product. Maybe you want to see the sales volume, the reviews on that product. This tool, the product tracker, will keep track of all those things for you. So you don't have to try and go back and maybe write the information down. The product tracker is going to organize everything for you. Amazon keyword research. If you guys did not know that Amazon uses keywords to heavily dictate the search of the platform, you're missing out, right? So the keyword, let's use dog brace as a keyword. That's a keyword that once you type into the Amazon platform, into that search bar, Amazon is going to use all these different listings that have that same keyword and generate them for you so that you can see that. So super valuable for you to establish what is being used in that niche. Reverse ASIN lookup, super valuable. Take an ASIN, drop it in there, pulls up the listing. Keyword tracker, quick view, stock stats, all these things. Again, I could spend a while going over them. I just want to give you guys opportunities to ask some questions as well. All of these are extremely valuable that you'll use on a regular basis, not only when you're launching your product, but also in the midst of selling. At all times, I had my AMZ Scout subscription. At all times, whether I've already listed a product, whether I've sold that product for 3 years, 3 months, I still have it because I'm now, doing analysis on the competition level, on the market, all of those things. I want to touch a little bit more on the Pro Extension because it really is such a powerful tool that, again, operates directly on the Amazon platform and get an inside look to the trends. Like, what is currently happening with the sales volume? Is the sales volume only really, high during Q4, during Christmas, during the holiday time, or is it pretty consistent throughout the year? I always find that really valuable. And the Pro Extension, again, is a plugin right on the web browser that when you're on a listing, all you click one button and it gives you sales volume, quality of competition. You can kind of see which niche to dive into and honestly, which niche to avoid. I feel like, if I'm being honest, the times that you're seeing the niches to avoid is higher than the niches that you want to go after. So it's important. Like, you want to be able to say, hey, this product has way too many competitors in it, or this product doesn't have enough sales. Or honestly, every time I see this product on Amazon, it's got a bunch of negative reviews. For a while, I was trying to sell these glass cleaners that it hooks up to your sink, you push down on it, cleans the glass, but it just, the development of the product wasn't what it was supposed to be. And it was getting negative reviews. So I was trying to ignore that because I love the idea of it. I mean, I have one in my kitchen because I was like, this is so cool because you just want to clean a cup really quick. But if the reviews say that it's not doing well because all of the suppliers haven't really found a way to kind of craft the product in a good way, then it's not worth it, right? A good tool that I always really like to use within the Pro Extension is to estimate your FBA costs for a better view of your net profit and get an overview of your product's history before you take it any further. And I see folks that will say, like, oh, this product has good sales volume, it has low levels of competition. Andre, I think I'm ready to make a move on it. And I'll say, well, what are the profit margins? How much will you be making per unit every single time you sell one of these? And is that enough for you, right? Is $2 enough per unit? Well, you may only sell 5 units in a day and make $10. Or you can make $10 per transaction and sell 3 units a day. Now you're making $30. So if we get into here, the Pro Extension has some cool tools that also allow you to get direct access to the Alibaba platform. I mean, the software that AMZ Scout has to allow you to use this reverse image software where it looks up the suppliers on Alibaba based on the image is so easy. You literally just click on suppliers on Alibaba and then the product you're looking at pops it all up. Because I don't know if you guys have done this before, but when you're on Alibaba and you type in dog brace into the search results, English and Chinese don't directly translate to each other. So you can be on the Alibaba platform searching, going through all these different listings that are not really the dog brace you're looking for. They could be like a dog brace to hold the entire dog, right? Because you want to cut its nails, but you want a dog brace for the ACL joint. So it's important that you have direct access to the platform because now you're cutting down on your research time. And let's be honest, what we want is efficiency. We want to act fast. We don't want to have to scroll through 4 pages on Alibaba. When you just click on suppliers on Alibaba, it brings it right up and then you're there. There's a lot more helpful features as well. One of them that I want to touch on is the product calculator. Now, this is directly on the platform where you can have it as like a web extension. You click on it and it takes the box size, it takes the list price, it takes all these different variables into play. And then you input how much the product would cost and it automatically generates a profit for you, a profit percentage, a profit margin that you would be making. So rather than saying like, okay, my list price is $30, my all-in cost is $15.99, Amazon fees, no. AMZ Scout takes care of all that for you. Knowing your Amazon fees, knowing the box dimensions, everything is just locked in one place. And it makes it extremely easy to just say, this product's not worth my time. Because I can tell you there are more than one times that I've, fell in love with a product just because I liked it. We'll use dogs daily, right? Like I'm a dog person, so I love dogs. And then I see the ACL brace. It makes sense to me. It's got good sales volume. But then I go and I see the profit margin, and like people are only making like 8% profit, and 8% profit on $29.99 as the list price. They're really not making that much money. So now I'm putting all this time back into it, and I'm not getting what I want. If I had the clear-cut answer right from the start to say, hey, this dog brace is only going to make you 8% profit on $30, you're going to be making about $6 per transaction, and you're only going to be selling about 5 units a day, when in contrast, I have another product that I could be selling a lot more of and have higher profit margins, or maybe the same amount, just higher profit margins. I'm more realistically going to go with the higher profit margins. It just makes sense. I mean, that's the whole point of selling on Amazon, is for us to make money. Just want to let you guys know we are coming near to the end, so it's important that you guys stay locked in for the end. We're going to go over the pricing here in a moment. I just want to make sure we have some action takers here, some people that are really willing to step up, make the difference, do the things in their life that add value, whether that's traveling, be interested in your car, supporting your family, whatever that is. This is how you do so. Quickly, before we move off here, a few more things that the AMZ Scout platform has is the monthly sales estimates, the review numbers and rating average, the automatic FBA fee calculations, super important, lowest seller price information, listing quality analysis, main product keywords, BSR history. A lot of cool things that the product has for you guys. One of my favorite, again, I know I touched on it, I just want to touch on it one more time, is the Amazon Scout, AMZ Scout product database. And the database really is just this large repertoire, this large amount of products that, again, you can use all these filters. Like you see here, it has the category section. I'm big on the household, but I don't want to sell anything in the Kendall store. So you can uncheck the Kendall store and get into the health and household section. And it just really narrows down, filters down your search to make your time spent more efficiently. So make sure your time is spent efficiently. Use the product database, use the different filters. I've made a few videos with AMZ Scout going over the different filters, how to use them. It's on AMZ Scout's website, on their YouTube. Make sure you go in and check it out. Watch that video if you want a step-by-step tutorial so you can see really how to use these for your betterment. Again, another important one that I just want to hit one more time is the AMZ Scout keyword search and reverse ASIN lookup. Amazon keyword search to get thousands of relevant keywords for your listing and pay per click advertising. If you guys didn't know, again, these keywords are so important. You could find, all these relevant keywords within the dog niche that are relevant to your product. And without them, you can't run ads on that product, right? Because folks are bidding, sellers are bidding on these keywords to establish how they want to advertise to their customers. So you need to be able to find those keywords, and AMZ Scout does that for you. Super efficient, super easy. Last portion here is the reverse ASIN lookup to instantly get the keywords that your competitors use for their products. This is super important because your competitors are doing well. They're selling 300 to 500 to 1,000 units a month. How are they doing it? Well, they're using certain keywords. This gives you access to look at those keywords, run them on your own PPC campaigns, and get those sales. Okay, so I want to go over some pricing here and show you guys what kind of deal we're looking to offer, because I feel like it's so valuable. And again, without some tool at your disposal, you're going to have a really tough time. You're not going to be able to do it. And valued at almost $2,000 is the 1,000 plus Amazon profitable products. You'll even receive top 1% products selected by AI out of millions of items on Amazon delivered to your inbox weekly. We talked about analysis paralysis, talked about all these people having a tough time being able to choose a product. AMZ Scout will literally choose a product for you, give you the statistics on why it's a good product. You don't just get the product, you get to see why it's a good product. And in my opinion, that also gives you kind of food for thought or fuel to establish like, okay, this is the search history I should be looking for, etc. You also get a 12 monthly trend reports covering growing niches, trending products, categories to avoid. That's a big one. Tips on how to beat competitors by making simple product improvements, and much more, valued at $500. Hope you guys are keeping track of how much all this costs and what kind of discount you're going to receive at the end here. AMZ Scout bonuses. Now, we're going to go over some of these quickly. Valued really $200, $300, $400. Amazon infographics secrets ebook. Find out how to attract shoppers and turn them into buyers by creating an irresistible product listing. This is so important. If you're going to sell well on Amazon, your listing needs to be optimized in every single way. And if you don't know how to do it, if you just take your iPhone and try and take a picture, you're probably going to have a tough time getting sales. Second is how to get reviews. You guys saw this, top 5 mistakes that I covered, people not focusing on reviews. Get reviews from day one when you most need them, and accelerate your sales while staying in compliance with Amazon's policies. We touched on both these things, right? The AMZ Scout is laying it out for you. They're making sure that you're staying safe with Amazon, so you're not going against their terms and conditions, but in the same breath, you're also getting those reviews, especially when you need them most. Last but not least on this is list of lower risks. Ungated Amazon categories for beginners, a 22-page list of evergreen categories and subcategories to consider selling from if you're just starting out on your Amazon journey. Super valuable, valued at $200. Before we get into the pricing, I just want to touch on accountability, reputability. AMZ Scout has been around for a while, and they've done such a good job that they've built their own form of reviews, right? People have been using this platform, myself included. I can partner with anyone in the space. I choose to partner with AMZ Scout because I believe in their products. I believe in the people that work there as well. They're all just great people. That's why I make videos with them on a regular basis, and I love using their tools. I still have my AMZ Scout subscription that I use on a regular basis. So read some of the reviews, go through them, see what other people have found beneficial, right? And from the plugin to the database, so many beneficial things, really. And ask yourself, why AMZ, right? The distinctive features and key differences from competitors that are out there and how they do it. Utilize essential features every seller needs for the start of your journey. Just the key tools, nothing unnecessary, no fluff, nothing to make this process maybe difficult for you to understand. The sun is coming through here. I don't know if you guys can see it. AMZ's light shining in on me, trying to make it even more appealing. You're also going to gain access to highly accurate data at the most affordable price, right? Nothing is free in life, and to run these product research softwares is not cheap. And AMZ Scout does the perfect balance of operating their business while still giving us the tools that we need in order to view all this data. Get ready to launch ideas. You can offer from any location, receive ideas from the top 1% performing products via email on a regular basis, and take advantage of features that can simplify the listing creation process for you. We touched on that listing process. It can be honestly pretty daunting, pretty tedious. Find your perfect product in just 30 minutes from our selection of over 1 million products. I mean, it does not get much more straightforward than that. I love that. So I wanted to quickly touch in the combination of both of these, right? My mentorship plus AMZ Scouts bundle, and together what they're worth, right? Because everything has a price on it, and you would be paying over $3,500 for both of our services together. But what we're willing to do for only today is $629. And it doesn't even stop there. Of course, you can pay it in one-time payment, or you can split it into 4 payments interest-free. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but the interest-free part is huge. If I can do anything interest-free, whether I'm buying a couch or buying a tool that's going to help me make money, I always utilize that, right? So utilize these deals and these services because, as I said before, this is not something that's going to last. It's only a one-time offer that AMZ Scout and myself are offering. What I do is I like to allocate a certain amount of time for all of my people that I mentor, and I can only do this for a certain duration of time before it fills up. And then once it fills up, I'm at capacity. I'm not going to deliver a subpar service to my clients because I want to take on too many clients. I have a hard stop at a certain number. So once that gets filled, which it normally does after these, that's it. So you can use these QR codes. They're extremely easy. You can scan either one. Again, you can pay one time or you can have it split into 4 payments. Now, we're talking about the split payments. This is only for those folks in the US. You can purchase this bundle using the buy now, pay later payment method is up to 4 interest-free payments. Do you guys know what the interest rate is on a house right now? It's like 7%. It used to be 3%. Interest rates are insane in this day and age. I mean, they're crazy. They're going up. Whether you want to buy a car or you want to buy a home, offering free interest payments on something is just super, super, super valuable. Again, there's two QR codes on the screen right now. Make sure you choose which one fits you if you want to make the payment all at one time, or if you would like to split that up into 4 different payments. Now, this section is something that's really important, and I think that only those companies can offer if they stand by their products, and that's a refund guarantee of 10 days. So that means that you will have access to get your money back if you are not satisfied with any of what's part of this bundle. And to me, I feel like there's a lot of folks that don't offer this, and it's for a reason. It's because once they have your money, that's it. But we're so confident in the service that we deliver that we're willing to give you a refund guarantee up to 10 days. So you can have calls with me. You can use the AMZ Scout platform. You can truly see what it's like and make the decision for yourself. And for me, I love the money back guarantee on things because then it's just like puts you in a situation where you can't lose, right? You spend the money, you don't like it, you get your money back. Those folks that always offer the money back guarantee, like there's like a 1% chance you're going to return it because they do that because they're so confident. They put so much time and energy into that. Now, as we're coming towards the end here, I want to leave the screen up. I want you guys to go through it, and I want to start going through some of the questions that I was seeing here in chat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll all the way up to the beginning of the chat here. I'm going to move my camera just a touch so I get a little bit closer to the screen. And I'm going to go through some of these questions. We're going to talk about them. If you have questions that you didn't drop in chat, make sure you guys do it now. It's a good opportunity. If you're stuck at any point in the process, again, I'll answer your question right now for free. It's easy. Type it in. Let me know what we have going on here. First question, stuck at accessing my account, to be honest. Honestly, you are not the first person that has sent me that message. I've seen a bunch of folks that are stuck. So if you are stuck, here's a good kind of cue for you or recommendation. If you are stuck at accessing your account and it's old with an old email, create a new email, create a brand new account. Everything's nice and fresh. That will help you out 100%. Okay. Next question here. We have, I'm interested in the content. Yes, if you go on AMZ Scout's YouTube channel, again, my name's Andre. You will see my face. Normally I'm like, you'll see my face. You'll see a bunch of the videos I've done in combined effort with AMZ Scout, where we go over all these different things that are super valuable. So go on their YouTube and check it out. They will definitely help you out. We have our Colombian friend here. Perfect. Okay, I have problems finding out what to sell. Again, we have within the bundle, AMZ Scout is going to run you through a bunch of different products. So you're having problems finding out what you need to sell, they're going to have you covered there. Jamie, I have been selling on Seller Central as a reseller. Nice. Jamie, let me know what part of the process. Are you profitable? Are you break even? Are you still figuring out your account? I'd love to know where you're at down below. Let me know. Let me know. Everyone has Amazon Prime. I know. Literally. Everyone. It's like, it's crazy. And you have access to all these different customers. It's extremely valuable to be able to sell on Amazon and have your customers have access to Amazon Prime. Sometimes it's tough because your significant other might buy a lot of things on Amazon, but that's okay, right? Gotta have the Prime. I agree. Yes, it's a real thing. This is so true. Yep. Okay, many times I find what to sell, but Amazon is over there. I'm assuming you're saying Amazon is over there. Like there's too many of those products currently being sold. It's important to realize like what is the happy medium of too much, right? Like how many sellers are in a niche? I always like to have the average amount of reviews below 100 in order to establish a level of competition in a niche. So that would be a good thing to write down for you guys when you guys are using the product database, as you can go in and you can say, I want average reviews below 100. That will definitely help you out. Okay. The best part of the webinar, let's go. Chris, thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks. I'll think about it. I have to go. Okay. Well, again, you only have today. So I hope you are an action taker and you take action today. Ooh, I love this comment. Listen to this, guys. It's important to remember to be successful in life. You must invest in yourself. Plus, the best part is a tax write-off so you can get your money back at the end of the year. Chris, you're actually speaking some truth there. I mean, speaking truth in many regards. Thank you for that positive comment. I think, a lot of people don't know this, but if you had a business checking account and you bought this under your business, right? This is a business expense. It's like the same thing if someone went to a webinar for their work pays for the webinar. That's a business expense. So yes, I love that. Your webinar is the best I've watched, so many, and yours has the best information for starting up. Yes, you know what? It's so funny you said that because I wanted to focus a lot on the start process and building some of those, foundational things. It's really, 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 really important. So I'm glad you recognize that. Okay, will this deck be available for us to download? The information from this will be published on the AMZ YouTube, but the offer ends. It's a short, limited time offer that if you want to take action on, you need to do so now. Again, it's money back guarantee. I mean, you don't really have anything to lose. So if you don't take advantage of it, if you don't invest in yourself, you're missing out. You're missing out. Okay. I've already joined about a month ago, but you are great. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know what? Whoever you have joined with through AMZ, honestly, again, AMZ is they're just awesome. They're just really good people. I'm always in contact with them, talking to them on a regular basis, like on a weekly basis. We're just constantly talking about content ideas for you guys and, how we can really deliver the best service possible. And it's like when you meet people who are passionate about what they do, it's very refreshing. And that's why I work with AMZ Scout 100%. Perfect. Is there a reply? I just joined the, just purchase the bundle, or Christina, give me a little bit more context. Okay. A reply of this webinar will be sent to you within 24 hours. Okay. It looks like QR codes are working. Chris, love to hear that. See, look at that. We got people taking action. Love it. Love it. Love it. Cynthia, I already have AMZ Scout. How does the rest work with the bundle? That is a great question. that AMZ Scout is going to directly take for you. Okay, I'm going to get into some more questions here that have been dropped in the Q&A section here. So we're going to go through them. Again, I would probably take some notes on some of this stuff just because it's extremely valuable. First question here in the Q&A section. After going through registration, I got an email saying that the identity verification process has been completed and that I have to sign in to my Amazon seller account to activate it. And after signing in, it freezes. Then the page crashes and says that too many redirects occurred. This happens on Safari, Google Chrome, and Firefox. I also tried clearing cache and cookies, but still not working. Did I maybe do something wrong during the registration? I opened a case with Amazon, but they said they weren't able to help somehow. Okay, this is an important question. What you need to do is you need to reach back out to your Amazon seller support and reach out to them again and again and again. And eventually you will get the right person that will lock you in. I saw that you cleared your cache and your cookies, so I'm glad that you did that. But sometimes you just need Amazon to fix the bug on their end. And sometimes you call Amazon, the first person may not help you. It's honestly good to know this up front. You're going to have to call 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 more times. So make sure you go in and ask someone again. They will be able to take care of you. What's the best third-party app to help with choosing a product and product analysis? We just said it. AMZ Scout. We're here right now. This is it. This is the best. This is the best app with choosing your product and product analysis. Use the Product Pro extension. Use all those variables. They're here at your expense. They're here to help you. How I started Amazon in Pakistan. I am in the States, and that is what I know the best. So I'm only going to give advice to those folks wanting to start their Amazon account in the States. There's some other information out there on YouTube. Again, YouTube will really help you get some more context, get some more information. I'm only going to give you information that I know is true, and that is selling in the States here. Next question is, when you're starting, it is wise to register your brand in Canada. Anticipate costs for registration? ? Seems like an expensive undertaking. Is establishing a store only limited to brand registry sellers? If not, how could one ensure that customers are able to find your product line? Okay, some good questions here. I'll answer them. When you're starting, is it wise to register your brand in Canada? If you live in the States, you should register your brand in the States. That is the number one piece of advice I can give you, because if your trademark is in a different place outside of the States, outside of the USA, and you have a problem, the brand registry may not honor your trademark. I've actually seen it happen to someone, so I highly encourage, don't do it anywhere else besides in the US. It seems like it's an expensive undertaking. Is establishing a store only limited by the brand registry sellers? Having the brand registry attributes is only for those enrolled in the brand. It is an expensive undertaking, but that is part and parcel of selling on Amazon. And again, I've sold both ways. I've sold without brand registry and I have sold with brand registry, and there's no comparison. The sales are better. Everyone sees these big, captivating pictures and videos, gives you access to all these different things, telling you it's worth it. It's an expense worth paying. If not, how could you ensure that customers are able to find your entire product line? You need the brand registry. You need them to lock that in. Next question here is DDP sometimes incur import duty. Can you advise on the best way to ship without these inconveniences? Yes, DDP. If you are actually using DDP or your supplier is shipping these goods DDP, you will have no problem paying extra fees or getting your inventory held up at customs. All these things will be locked in when it is DDP. If there is a problem where your inventory is stuck at customs, it's because your inventory wasn't shipped to DDP. So what I like to do, and I'll give you this is going to kind of touch on that, is in my supplier contract, I will write goods must be shipped to DDP. And I sign it, my supplier signs it. So therefore, if my goods arrived at customs and weren't released because I had to pay a tax, it's because my supplier didn't send them DDP, which I have in a contract. So then Alibaba would then refund me the money. So protect yourself with contracts, make sure it is sold or sent DDP. Next question here. When testing products, do you ask China supplier do the packaging for you? Yes, absolutely. I order samples on every single product that I'm looking to launch. And when I get that sample, I use it, I test it, I act as a customer, I pick it apart, I try and find the flaws with it. You normally have to pay for your samples in most cases. I've had some suppliers actually take off the sample fee when I order the rest of the units for my total order. But I would highly encourage you to order a sample, test it, have the supplier in China, package it with the custom packaging that you want it to be sold in. Okay, what if you don't put UPC? Amazon B itself gives ASIN. Is that work? Okay, this is a question that I see a lot of folks having confusion with. Your UPC and your ASIN are two different things, okay? Your ASIN identifies the product in the Amazon platform. Your UPC identifies the product in the entire world, and two very different things. So if you gave that ASIN number to anyone, right, your supplier, they're not going to be able to identify that product. But if you give that UPC barcode to anyone, could be in China, could be in the States, they type it in, your product is going to show up. gs1.org registers your product in a database literally everywhere so that that product is known. Good question there. If you have skills, use Photoshop/Canva. Also, you can use Fiverr. I did for my pictures. Yes, super important. I always try and do things myself, even if I'm like watching a YouTube video on how to use Photoshop, how to use whatever editing platform. It really helps, honestly. So do things yourself if you can. It's important. Is good idea to buy Keepa? I am unfamiliar with what that is. Let me know. Send me a message. Send another question. I'd be more than willing to help you out, answer that question for you. My question is product variances and PPC campaigns. I have 3 variations for my product. I had to literally create 3 separate listings, then combine them. Was there an easier way to do this? And my PPC campaign is set for $800 a month, targeting 5 keywords. Should I have more? Okay, there's a few parts to this question. I'm gonna break it down part by part. Good questions here. So let me get through this first part. Is product variances and PPCs. I have 3 variations for my product. I had to literally create 3 separate listings. No, you should not have to create 3 separate listings. On your one listing when creating it, you can select a tab that says variants and input the variants. So all of those variants are on one listing. Good question. Next part of that question is my PPC campaign is sent for $800 a month, targeting 5 keywords. Should I have more, less? Is my budget too much? Okay, so your budget really is dependent on the level of competition in your niche. Some niches have higher levels of competition, therefore they require a higher budget. $800 a month, depending on how many units you're selling. Let's say you're selling 15 units a day. $800 a month is pretty realistic. Sometimes I like to start off about $50 a day. And then once I get organic ranking, once I'm ranking organic or higher organically in the search results, is when I'll lower that PPC budget maybe from 50 to 40 to 30, as long as those sales keep on trickling in. Good question there. Okay. What should your net margin be after all costs? FBA, advertising, shipping, etc. Rick, great question. This will depend from person to person and also the list price. So for me personally, if I'm selling a product under $100, I always want my profit margins to be over 20%. Of course, the higher the better, but in most cases, it hovers anywhere between 20 and 30%. And a lot of folks, I like to stay right around, let's say, $90 to $100 list price, and then they have that profit margin right around 20% after all their Amazon fees, their fulfillment fees, etc. That means they're making about $20 per transaction. For me, that is great. On average or a minimum, you're making between 5 and 10 sales a day. times 20, you can do the math, will make you thousands of dollars passively every single month. Good questions there. Very good questions. Is it better to be a reseller or have your own brand as a start? Very good question. Again, you guys are having some good questions. I like these questions. For me personally, I believe having your own brand is much more valuable than being a reseller. If you have your own brand, you can curate something. You have that sense of creativity with it. You can sell that brand later down the road. There's so many different variables. You're restricted as a reseller. You can't advertise in certain ways. I would always encourage folks, be a brand owner. Do not be a reseller. If you can choose between the two, that's just my opinion. I feel like it works out a little bit better for you. Next question from Timothy. Is the reseller license required? I ran into issues selling certain products. Yes, a reseller license is required for certain products. That's why selling your own brand, again, is the way to go. It's always important to kind of have control of as much things as you possibly can. Just want to take a moment to say the combined value between my bundle and AIMZ bundle is almost over $7,000. They're offering it today for $629. Again, you can do it one-time payment, or you can do 4 payments interest-free. That's crazy. I mean, again, you can pay 7% when you're buying a house, or you can do 4 payments, 0% interest, super affordable, super worth it in my opinion. You also have a 10-day money-back guarantee, which folks only offer when they believe in their service, when they believe in their staff, when they believe in what they're delivering. Again, super, super valuable. Guys, we are running down to the last final minutes before this is going to close off. I want you guys to let me know in the questions or in the chat if you have something else you want to know. It's extremely important to lock it in now before the webinar ends. Beautiful, beautiful. Perfect. Again, last few minutes before we're going to end the webinar now. I want to give you guys a moment. Ask me anything you have. You're stuck. You have a product that you're looking at. You have, Amazon owes you money. I bet you any question that you have, I have been through in the past few years. Even if it's not myself, it's from helping others. I mean, that's probably one of the major things that I've really benefited from helping others is I see all different types of problems. I'm able to help so many different people. It's really beneficial. Next question just came in. When testing new products, do you design packaging at that time? Ooh, this is a really good question. So this is what I like to do. I actually like to design the packaging before I receive my sample. That way, when I get my sample, I have the custom packaging that I designed. So I actually did this like one of the first times I dropped a product was I had the product come, but just in like a brown box. And then I designed the packaging. But then when I got the packaging later, it wasn't what I wanted. So I want to do everything in one shot. Design your packaging, have your sample put into it, have it shipped to you. Andre, as always, an amazing webinar. Bravo. Your knowledge is priceless. Thank you. Thank you so much for that nice, lovely comment. I'm so glad you were able to make it. Again, be an action taker. Take advantage of the bundle. It's super worth it. I would not promote it if I did not think so. It's just super valuable. And it's going to give you the financial freedom to do the things you want that I find are so valuable, whether it's travel, whether, again, it's buying a cool car that you're obsessed with. I know I've talked about cars. I just recently bought my dream car. And the only way I was able to do it was through this sense of financial freedom, hard work, my family, my wife supporting me in all of it. Do that. It's so empowering. It really is valuable. Okay, next question. When it comes to having a brand, do you just purchase an Alibaba, for example, and ask them to put a private label? Which would be your brands? Yes. If you were here earlier, we talked a little bit in the beginning about the trademark application in the brand registry department. Go back, rewatch that section. I'll touch on it quickly now. And it's basically you have to trademark the brand that you want. You have to apply to the brand registry department. You have your supplier put that logo on that brand. You'll be enrolled into the brand registry department. Voila, you have your brand that you can now sell on Amazon. Okay, how many calls can I have with the mentorship in a day? Nancy, good question. It really comes down to both of our availability. Of course, you're not the only one in the mentorship, and I have other things going on. But if you wanted to have a call, a day, I'm sure we can make it work. Besides the calls, you also have access to the written chat. So I see people do a combination of both, where they'll ask me a question through the chat, they'll get an answer. Then they'll say, hey, I want more clarification. Can we do a screen share, right? Where they share their screen. I help them walk through a certain process. And then we have a combination of both where they're asking questions through the chat. Then they're also having the screen share or the video calls. You don't have to share your video if you don't want to. I always like to turn mine on just because it makes it a little bit more personable. I'm a real person, just like you, doing the same thing. You'll see me in my apartment working away. Guys, last and final 4 minutes before the webinar ends. If you can, take advantage of it now, one-time payment, or you have the option of 4 payments. And again, you have a 10-day money-back guarantee. I mean, it's easy. It is pretty easy. Touching on how my services work again, I operate Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those are my office hours. Those are the times I'm available to you. Fortunately, I'm not available, 3 o'clock in the middle of the night or, 6 a.m. here. It's all within my business hours. But honestly, every single person that signs up for the mentorship always loves it. We always find a good rhythm of how to communicate with each other. It makes it, pretty easy. Okay. China supplier always needs at least 1,000 pieces to put the brand name on it. Will that be too much for testing products? Oh, this is such a good question. And it goes back to the supplier outreach or the supplier negotiation template that I sent to you when you sign up for this bundle. Again, the list price that Alibaba or the supplier from China is advertising is never what you pay. And yes, they may say 1,000 pieces requirement, but then when you say, hey, I'll do 500, I'll cut that in half, I'll do 500, they're going to take it. 9 times out of 10, they will take your negotiation tactics. And when you're ordering a sample unit, you're only ordering 1 unit, by the way. So you order 1 unit, you test it out, then you place your total unit or your total order. Let's say it's 500 when they're advertising 1,000. So your list price and the MOQ is always different than what's advertised on Alibaba. If you take one thing away, take that away, is that it's never the same. Every single time it is a different price. Guys, last and final 2 minutes. I have a hard stop in 2 minutes. Looks like we have some action takers in here. Take action. Do I have until the end of the day to purchase the bundle? Yes, you do. And again, ask some questions. If you have any other questions along the way, if you want to talk to me directly to ask some more questions, AMZ Scout will give you my email address. We can set up a call and you can ask some questions to get locked in on whatever you have. So don't be afraid to ask for that. I'm here for a reason. It's to help you. I've helped many folks in the past, currently helping many folks do the exact same thing, and that's take that first initial leap. I hope you guys have had a good day. I hope you guys have enjoyed this webinar. I've enjoyed it. Again, I'm passionate about working with AMZ Scout because every single time we always create very, very valuable content that folks can take away from. Last and final minute, guys, 60 seconds is it. And then I'm hitting the end button here and we are ending the webinar. I just want to thank everyone for coming, asking really good questions. Again, I want to thank AMZ Scout for hosting me. They are the best. I'm sure you guys will see me on their YouTube channel, creating some more valuable content. Last time, this is a very short offer that we're offering as in bundle packages. My services are more expensive. AMZ Scouts services are more expensive. Together, we're offering it to you at a discounted rate for a reason. It's because we want to help you. This is something very valuable. So if you guys found value to this, make sure to let us know in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys coming again. Very good questions. I look forward to seeing some of you guys on the other side. I know we already had a few folks sign up. So if you're still kind of on the fence or you're thinking about it, do it. There's a money back guarantee. And on that, I'll leave you guys to it. Take care. Thanks again. Bye-bye.